Good evening, everyone, and welcome to Low Country News. I'm Monica Justice.
And I'm Warren Truth. Today is June 29th, 2026.
We have another exciting show tonight, and we want to introduce our new sports anchor, Adius Fetch. Let's go to Adius now.
Hello, everyone. I'm Atticus Fetch, and I am excited to bring everyone sports every night here at Low Country News. As a local sports guy who played baseball for Hanahan Recreation and football at Danny Jones Recreation for the North Charleston Blue Devils, I am thrilled for this opportunity. Let's head back to Monica and Warren.
All right, thank you very much. And let's move ahead. Up next, local news.
The former Charleston County Judge, James Gosnell Jr., accused of sex crimes against children, is expected to plead guilty to 2 out of the 9 charges he was indicted on. Gosnell agreed to plead guilty to 1 count of possession of child pornography involving a prepubescent minor and 1 count of distribution of child pornography. The possession charge carries a maximum sentence of 20 years in prison and/or a fine of $250,000, while the distribution charge carries a mandatory minimum sentence of 5 years and a maximum of 20 years. The charges stem from multiple photos and videos investigators say they found on Gosnell's devices. He had originally pleaded not guilty, and the case was set to go to trial in August. U.S. attorneys and Gosnell have both signed the new plea agreement. There is no word yet on when the next hearing is expected, but you can count on News 2 for updates. The Berkeley County Sheriff's Office is investigating an armed robbery that led to what they've determined was a justifiable homicide in St. Stephen. Police tell us the victim has traveled from Georgetown to meet his cousin, 34-year-old Olivia Nance. Nance and her boyfriend, Harry Phillips, met the victim and traveled to Old Wing Road in the victim's car. That's when Phillips allegedly pulled out a handgun and attempted to rob the victim. We're told that Phillips shot the victim, but he was able to get out of the car and run into the woods. Phillips followed him, shooting again, and then trying to beat him. That's when the victim pulled out a knife and fatally stabbed Phillips. Following the incident, Nance fled in the victim's car, and the victim was found by a passerby and taken to the hospital. Nance was charged with obstruction of justice with additional charges pending. Detectives and the Ninth Circuit Solicitor's Office determined the victim acted in self-defense and Phillips' death was ruled a justifiable homicide. 4 juveniles are facing charges after North Charleston police recovered 4 handguns at a large gathering following reports of illegally parked cars near Kent Avenue. While speaking with occupants of a vehicle, officers noticed one passenger reaching towards the floorboard. When the passenger complied with commands to show his hands, police say they noticed a handgun between his legs. When asked to exit the car, one suspect fled, leading to a short foot chase, where officers reported seeing the suspect discard a gun that wasn't recovered. After searching the car, officers recovered 3 additional guns. 3 juveniles were charged with unlawful possession of a firearm by persons under 18. A fourth was charged with breach of peace and simple possession of marijuana.
We now know more information about Alec Murdaugh's retrial. A hearing for the case wrapping up about an hour ago at the Lexington County Courthouse. News 2's Raymond Owens was inside the courtroom, and he now joins us from outside the courthouse with the latest. Hi, Raymond.
Hey, Katie. The big news that came out of the courtroom today is that we know now that April the 5th of next year is the date that the retrial for Alec Murdaugh will begin. Now, where it will take place or what have you, we don't know that information yet. Murdaugh walked into court shackled at the hands, feet, and waist, and that's one of the issues that was discussed. The defense attorneys want him to be able to appear in court for the pretrial hearings as well, not shackled. They told the judge they're concerned potential jurors might see him during televised coverage wearing a prison outfit. The judge started the hearing asking both sides if they had all of the discovery information they needed. She said phone records, text messages, cell phone extractions, ballistics. Are we complete? Blood splatter. I just want to know where we are with these discovery items. Murdaugh's lawyer, Dick Harpootlian, said, well, that's hard to say because we don't know what we don't know. He said they do need time to learn more about DNA evidence that was found under Maggie Murdaugh's fingernails. And they said the company that uses new technology to find DNA matches might need until late spring or even early summer of next year to get their extensive work done. Prosecutor Creighton Waters said there's been no evidence that there was even a struggle with Maggie. And the defense said what they do know about that evidence is that the DNA does not belong to Alec Murdaugh. The defense also said they need Murdaugh to have access to a laptop so that he can help prepare for the case. The judge said she spoke with the prison warden herself, and he said he does not want a laptop in the prison. The judge said prisoners are allowed to use iPads, and she was going to see if there might be a way to download the information Murdaugh needs onto an iPad, but she said she's not going to allow a laptop. Now, Judge McCaslin said she will let both sides know what her decision on that issue is by tomorrow. The defense also wants a change of venue. They say the case has received too much publicity in Colleton County or even surrounding areas. The judge told the defense and the prosecution to discuss that issue and to come to some sort of an agreement. She says if they do not, she will decide. She also said she will make several of these other decisions between now and the next pre-trial date. And they set the next pre-trial date for August the 14th back here in Lexington. And the pre-trial hearings will probably happen here at the Lexington County Courthouse. So right now we know the next pre-trial date is August the 14th. We know the actual trial date is now scheduled for April the 5th, and the judge made it very clear about that April the 5th date. She says she's willing to have multiple days of pre-trial hearings, but she said, quote, "When I say April 5th, we are picking the jury and going forward." Live at the Lexington County Courthouse in Lexington, I'm Raymond Owens. Back to you in the studio.
All right, everyone, there's always a lot of worldwide news going on, and with the extreme heat, everyone has to make sure they stay hydrated. Up next, worldwide news.
Two alarming incidents reported at JFK Airport today alone. Tonight, a JetBlue flight reporting it hit a drone at 3,000 feet while trying to land, where it hit the plane. And just in tonight, a helicopter pilot reporting a very close call with a remote-controlled plane. This all comes after United pilot reported a close call with a drone. What's going on? Images coming in tonight, dramatic rescues playing out even after 5 days of being buried by those back-to-back earthquakes in Venezuela.
Whoa, just had an aftershock.
And the moment our James Longman about to go on the air when an aftershock hits.
From devastating floods that killed at least 5 people. The force of the rushing floodwaters was so powerful that it hurled debris like this onto many roadways, and even a small creek like this one swelled enough to peel the asphalt off this bridge. In the West, where nearly 40 large wildfires are burning in 9 states, firefighters taking time to honor the fallen after the Snyder Fire that forced more than 100 campers and rafters to evacuate a stretch of the Colorado River took the lives of 38-year-old firefighter Emily Barker, 27-year-old Nick Hutcherson, and 27-year-old Sydney Watson. Authorities say they were trapped, and despite deploying emergency shelters, they could not survive the fast-moving flames. And David, here in the Chicago area, you can see people behind me doing everything they can to beat the heat. And local officials are sounding the alarm about the brutally hot temperatures. They're setting up cooling shelters and also using robocalls to alert some 31,000 vulnerable seniors to take precautions. David.
Yeah, we got to look out for our neighbors over these next several days. Faith Abube leading us off. Faith, thank you. We turn now to 2 alarming incidents tonight, both reported at JFK Airport today alone. A JetBlue flight reporting it hit a drone at 3,000 feet while trying to land, where that drone hit the plane. Also just in tonight, a helicopter pilot has now reported a very close call with a remote-controlled plane. And this all comes after a United pilot reported a near collision with a drone. So what's going on? Gio Benitez covers aviation for us.
As millions of Americans crisscross the U.S. for the 4th of July holiday, tonight a troubling incident in the skies involving a drone and a passenger jet.
We collided with a drone back there in the turn.
You said you collided?
Yep, it hit us right above the cockpit.
Around 7:15 a.m., pilots of a JetBlue flight full of passengers from Las Vegas coming in for a landing at New York's JFK Airport believed they hit a drone at nearly 3,000 feet.
If we don't need any assistance, we're just going to go ahead and land.
And just moments ago, a second incident at JFK, a helicopter pilot reported nearly colliding with a gigantic remote-controlled plane.
Almost ran into a gigantic RC airplane right over there.
Can you describe it?
One of the remote-controlled airplanes, a big one at 500 feet.
Just days ago on Friday, a dramatic and dangerous close call as a United pilot says they came within 100 feet of a drone while on descent at Newark.
We almost hit a drone right there about 100 feet below us.
Both planes landing safely, the FAA is now investigating. The alarming incidents come as many are set to travel this holiday, a terrifying incident playing out on a busy Miami runway.
4 Quebec Sierra, you just crossed an active runway. Hold short of 8 runway 8 left.
You just told me to cross the runway, sir.
No, we set Amerijet 461.
An American Airlines jet barreling down the runway at about 60 miles per hour, aborting takeoff after a business jet entered the runway without authorization, putting the two on a possible collision course. And David, a reminder here, you cannot fly a drone near an airport. It is incredibly dangerous. It can literally bring down a plane. Thankfully, this plane landed safely, and in fact, they did not find any damage on it, David.
Gio Benitez with us tonight. Gio, thank you. Turn now to the dramatic rescues. They are still playing out now 5 days after those back-to-back earthquakes in Venezuela. And tonight you'll see it right here, the moment our chief international correspondent James Longman was about to go on air when one of those aftershocks hit. James is in Venezuela for us tonight.
They're still finding miracles in Venezuela tonight, 5 days after huge twin earthquakes ripped through the country.
Just arrived in La Guaira, and this gives you an idea of the level of destruction. Just about every building along the seafront looks like this.
Somehow, through all this, some have survived. This 21-year-old man was saved after being buried for 106 hours. Tonight, he called his rescuers angels. And crews pulled out an 11-year-old boy, and another boy was saved with his father. And a 9-month-old baby was rescued with her mother by a crew from Fairfax County, Virginia.
Tell her to tuck her feet back in.
That team worked through translators for 10 hours to get her out from under what was an 8-story building. This man says his sister is still trapped. His family recorded a phone call with her. But for so many, hope is fading.
She was in the kitchen.
Domingo was on FaceTime with his sister and her 9-year-old son when the quake hit. He knows they did not make it.
Can you tell me how you're feeling right now?
I cannot describe this. Because now I am the only son. I have a living without a mother, without a father, without his brother.
I'm so sorry.
More than 1,700 are now confirmed dead, and the danger of aftershocks is still real tonight. We felt one just as we were getting ready to go live.
Oh, that's an aftershock. That's sent a lot of panic. Take a look down here. People are running away from the buildings because that is the level of terror.
There have been more than 600 aftershocks since those massive quakes.
David, the level of devastation here in La Guaira, the inaccessibility, the slow government response means that for many people, they're only just seeing a rescue operation, and there are still tens of thousands of people missing. David.
James Longman in Venezuela for us. James, we appreciate it. Tonight, disgraced lawyer Alec Murdaugh back in court for the first time since his conviction for the murders of his wife and son was overturned. The judge setting a new trial date for April 5th. The South Carolina Supreme Court overturned the guilty verdict, ruling a court clerk tainted the jury's decision by making comments to jury members. Murdaugh remains in prison on separate financial crimes. He insists he did not kill his wife and son.
All right, everyone. As you can see, the weather for Charleston this week is partly cloudy through Wednesday, with Thursday and Friday having potential scattered thunderstorms. Let's move ahead to additional weather.
We begin tonight here with the life-threatening heat moving in across much of the country tonight, potentially record-breaking temperatures. Philadelphia, New York City, Boston about to get hit with heat index readings of 100 degrees or more for several days. This has already settled into the middle of the country. More than 150 million Americans tonight under these dangerous heat alerts. The heat index in Chicago today, it felt like 102 degrees. Alerts tonight from Kansas all the way to the Northeast. The Northeast will soon feel like triple digits. Firefighters in the Chicago area battling flames amid that brutal heat at the same time. And the wildfires we're watching tonight, 3 firefighters killed near the Colorado River. They deployed their emergency shelters in the middle of the flames, trying to survive it. Tonight, the breaking news here, this life-threatening heat now moving in. Extreme heat warnings across much of the country tonight and moving into the east next. More than 150 million Americans under dangerous heat alerts. Kansas all the way to the northeast. Philadelphia, New York City, and Boston now bracing. And the wildfires tonight. 3 firefighters have been killed battling the flames. Those firefighters had deployed their emergency shelters in the middle of the flames, trying to survive. And the straight line winds more than 100 miles per hour. Lee Goldberg tracking it all tonight. This evening's extreme heat now making its way. Its move east. Lee Goldberg standing by with the full forecast tonight. And ABC's Faith Abube leading us off from Chicago.
Tonight, a dangerous dome of extreme heat is spreading from the Midwest to the East Coast, threatening to break all-time records.
This is the time to check in on our neighbors.
102-degree heat index in the Chicago suburbs today. Firefighters sweltering in full gear while tackling a fire in Inglewood. Minneapolis feeling like 103 degrees today, and Kansas City 105 degrees. The extreme heat fueling extreme storms. Straight line winds over 100 miles an hour, taking out these massive wind turbines in Highmore, South Dakota.
Right to ABC senior meteorologist Lee Goldberg, who's tracking all of this. Lee, this is going to last several days.
Going to be a big impact on America 250, David. It's bearable in New York right now, but blistering by the time we get to Wednesday. The heat's peaking over the Midwest right now. There are ridge-riding thunderstorms across the upper lakes. We have heat alerts from Kansas to Maine. Tomorrow, it'll be triple digits again in Chicago and Green Bay, feeling like 105 to 110. The heat gets to the East Coast on Wednesday. Large swath of the I-95 corridor on Wednesday. It'll be 100 in Detroit and D.C. and near 100 in Philly and New York by Thursday and potentially into Friday. This peaks on Thursday and Friday, but less extreme heat could mean more thunderstorms for the 4th right here in New York. David?
We'll track it right here this week with you. Lee Goldberg tonight. Lee, thanks.
I figured I'd start my first show out with a bang and show everyone some of my athletic ability. I'm 6'4" and I can dunk. Up next, sports. Low Country Sports News Alert.
It's down to 32 teams in the FIFA World Cup. The group stage is finished, and we now know the path, what it's going to look like to the final. The U.S. is one of the teams that cracked the knockouts and will be facing off against Bosnia and Herzegovina. That matchup is Wednesday night, 8 Eastern on Fox, but you can catch the knockout rounds starting today. Canada, South Africa face off this afternoon at 3 Eastern on Fox. Well, spectators are feeling the success of the World Cup coast to coast as foreign fans express their highlights and what they've got to offer here, what the U.S. has had to offer. Listen to some of the fans embracing Americana.
Hot dog, packet of crisps, and a drink bigger than my head for $3. Not bad.
Currently at the museum Costco, how can they even run out of stock? There's just too much.
No wonder a lot of Americans get this stick for thinking that the USA is the whole world, because every city is like a different country.
Let's bring in Emily Austin, host of the Emily Austin Show. Emily, thanks very much for joining us this afternoon. We've seen tons of viral moments like this. What have been your favorites so far?
Oh my gosh. I mean, this was a healing moment I didn't even know I needed. In fact, I think this is the greatest thing to happen to America so far. This entire World Cup feels like a worldwide playdate, and everyone is having the best time. No one's getting in trouble. No one's calling their mom. It's just strangers embracing one another at these games. I've been to most of these games so far, and my favorite part isn't the storyline happening on the pitch, but it's actually what's happening pre-game, in the stands, post-game. I mean, I've never spoken to so many strangers from different countries in my life. You have the Scotland fans getting the Brazilian fans to cheer their national anthem with them outside. Bagpipes left and right. They're conquering Boston. The Scottish have conquered Miami. I mean, it's just like this entire embrace of the world, and given everything going on, we certainly needed it.
You know, and you look, even here in D.C., we don't have any games. Our closest games are in Philadelphia, but it's still, for America 250, everything has come together because you can easily get here from New Jersey, New York. You can get here from Philadelphia. And so you've got tons of soccer fans from all over the world, even now celebrating America's 250.
Yeah, and you know, one of the questions I like to ask people, both on and off the field, is what's been your favorite part of America? So everyone's answer is, oh my goodness, it's your birthday. I'm usually speaking to Brits, and they're really enjoying the celebrations with us. But some answer that surprised me was a lot of Europeans came and said, you know what shocked me most was the hospitality. And they said that in their countries, you watch the media, tune into X and Instagram, and there's this perception that we're not warm people, that we're not hospitable, that we're overly political, and that we're so divided. And then you come and we're embracing you in our home, in our cities. We're giving you our food. We're sharing our culture. I mean, apparently part of our culture people are fascinated with is ranch dressing. TSA has an epidemic with people trying to take ranch back to Europe. But the small things about America and Americans that they appreciate, I certainly do. But it's a good reminder for all the Americans who forget how amazing this country is.
Do you think part of it also is, too, that typically when people come here from around the world, they tend to go to our big cities? And not like there's not amazing things to see in our big cities, but now they're out at Buc-ee's. They're out at, all throughout the suburbs and seeing small-town America, whether it's in the north or the south. I mean, there's a real new dynamic to this, isn't there?
Yeah, it's just another level of appreciation. I mean, honestly, I didn't realize until the Europeans shed a light on it how the common things that we have here are uncommon. Apparently, AC units are not something that most people have. I mean, I was shocked by that. But 7-Eleven slushies, Costco, the size of our meals are proportionately bigger than theirs. So I'm even learning things about America, but it's something that they certainly, like I said, they're not taking it for granted. But it's the small things, I think, that matter in life, because the big things, I guess, you can find across the globe in these bigger cities. But what I like about this World Cup being all over America is that people are driving from state to state. So even just the scenes that they're taking in, it's really giving people a fair chance to evaluate America from their own perspective and not from what the media has been telling them, which has clearly been a lot of lies.
And finally, Emily, how far is the U.S. going to go?
Okay, listen, my honest answer, hang on. Got my whole prediction sheet right here. I think we're going to make it past Bosnia, but if we have to face Belgium, Americans, please shut your ears. I think we will struggle a wee bit.
Yeah. All right, Emily Austin, thank you so much for joining us.
Tonight, former NBA player Malik Beasley facing federal charges accused in a sports gambling scheme, allegedly helping gamblers win hundreds of thousands of dollars by telling them he would underperform and then following through during the game. Here's Aaron Katursky.
Tonight, former NBA player Malik Beasley is facing federal charges accusing him of tailoring how well he played so sports gamblers could win hundreds of thousands of dollars. Prosecutors say Beasley, who made $60 million during his NBA career, accumulated multi-million-dollar gambling losses, and to pay off what he owed former teammate Ed Davis, agreed to underperform and at times overperform. In this 2024 game between the Milwaukee Bucks and LA Clippers, the indictment says Beasley promised to grab more rebounds than the sportsbooks predicted, soaring in the final seconds to get it done.
And Beasley's going to hold on to this one.
His co-defendants collecting thousands of dollars from their alleged insider bets.
Oh, Davis, yes!
The indictment quoted text messages allegedly between Beasley and Davis, who is also facing charges. Only way you can beat Vegas is sports betting. Everything else, they got the edge, Davis wrote. And Beasley responded, well, yeah.
This case is the latest, David, in a crackdown on illegal sports betting and the athletes who allegedly participate. Tonight, Beasley's lawyer tells us his client maintains his innocence. David?
Aaron Katursky, our chief investigative correspondent. Aaron, thanks.
All right, everyone. For Low Country News, I am Monica Justice.
And I'm Warren Truth. Thank you for watching. And please don't forget to like, follow, and subscribe to True Perspective 843 on all platforms. Good night, everyone. Stay safe and see you tomorrow.